I truly don't believe that it's always been women didn't have a place. I really am at the point now where I'm like, women have to own it. And I said, my grandmother told me something when I was like 5. A woman can run faster with her skirt up than a man with his pants down. But I think not having my mother there was one of the things that led me to go look for love in a lot of other places. So I'm kind of grateful we didn't have a relationship, or you and I probably wouldn't be having this conversation.
Don't bring no drama my way. Don't bring no drama my way. Don't bring no drama my way. Yeah, I might have a great day. Don't bring no drama my way. Don't bring no drama my way. Don't bring no drama my way. Yeah.
What's up, everybody? It's your girl Lish Speaks, and we are back for another episode of I'll Just Let Myself In, the podcast where we do not wait for imaginary permission slips. We don't wait for anybody to give us a seat at some imaginary table. We literally walk through our God-given doors. I'm excited today because I have a legend in CHH in the building. She is a CHH Hall of Famer, co-host of the Stella Award-winning Dafixx radio show. She's an artist, a red carpet interviewer, a mother, and a soon-to-be grandmother. I missed a couple of things. She got some businesses, CHH University, CEO, all that stuff. But if you're not under a rock in this community of ours, you know I'm talking about none other than Dice Gamble. Yes. Give it up, y'all. For Dice. Welcome to the couch.
Thank you. That was an amazing welcome.
I tried.
Jeez, I didn't know who you were talking about there for a minute. I was like, where is she?
You got a lot going
that.
on, sis.
Praise God. I want some more going on too. When
And
you talk to
will.
Jesus, tell him, Dice is
and you
waiting.
will.
Okay.
Listen, this is a fun episode because in the month of May, I've been doing this series called Mothers I Admire.
Okay.
And I'm really excited because not only are you a mom, but you're getting ready to be a grandma.
I know, right?
And you're still cool.
Thank
Fine,
you.
fly, and all of that stuff, right? And
I'll
I think
take it.
I think we're in a generation, like you're the first generation of grandmothers
Yeah.
who know CHH.
Right.
Like, that's fire. Imagine
Yeah.
how your grandchild is going to grow up.
Listen,
and
I'm already thinking.
Yes, what's going to be spoken over there. Like, they're going to grow up knowing nothing else. And
That's right. Absolutely right.
this is amazing. This is amazing. Okay. So before we get into you as a mom, tell me a little bit about you as a child, your upbringing, your origin story, if we will.
Yeah, so I had a wonderful upbringing, actually. Definitely, my parents got married and got divorced. But being from a small town, Evansville, Indiana, my upbringing was very safe. You know, I grew up with, you could go to your grandmother's house or your auntie's house, just walk right on in. Everybody's cooking, you know, on the block. Everybody knows your name. My family pretty much raised me in church, you know what I'm saying? Just that Sunday for sure, you know, Saturday choir practice, Thursday night prayer meeting, Wednesday night this, Tuesday night that. So I had a great balance of faith and, you know, and then my mom was a young mother. So she was pregnant at 17, had me at 18, you know, so she kind of let my grandmother raise me. So my grandmother kind of kept me, you know, focused on my faith, but I had a little freedom there because, you know, hey, my mom was outside. Well, your mama, I don't know. Don't care either. But
Right.
I'm here for the ice cream, right? But had a really tight knit community. You know, and had a good balance of being raised around different, you know, I don't know, races and things like that. So, you know, it was good. It was good. You know, I mean, here's the deal. Scars, of course, from, you know, not having a father in the home, you know, and then definitely having an absent mother a lot of times. But I praise God for grandmothers and aunties who step up to the plate because I'm like, those are the two fun ladies anyway. So I'm like, yeah, God knew,
We'll get back to that.
Go ahead.
But it is so important to have community.
Yeah, super important.
I feel like we're coming back around to it, but we had lost the plot for a while
I
as
agree.
a people. We really had. I'm talking about black people. We had lost the plot in terms of community.
Yes.
I think we got so maybe insulated. I think COVID did a number on us as a nation, not just black people, just you know, people not knowing their neighbors at all, people not know, like, you know how we talked about the same thing. I grew up, everybody knew everybody, you know, kind of thing. And especially I grew up in Bed-Stuy, Brooklyn, but my grandmother lived in Red Hook. And when I would go to Red Hook, because I spent a lot of time in Red Hook, because that's where my grandmother and my cousins were, everybody knew everybody. People left their doors open. You could kind of go, if you know, like, if you ain't want to go upstairs to use the bathroom because you ain't want to get told to stay in the house, you just went to your front house and went to the bathroom. You know what I mean? Like, it was a different vibe. And people would be outside and just holding each other down. And things have changed drastically in the last several years, but I feel like we're getting back to community. And
you think so?
Yeah, I do.
I love that.
I think we are.
Okay.
What do you think?
No, you said hey, I believe what you think. I'm riding on your faith. What are we talking about? You said it. I agree. I'm like, hey, it's me and you. You know, Jesus said yes. Okay.
All right. So, as a kid, did you always know you wanted to be in radio, or that you wanted to be in entertainment?
I mean, I was, you know, at the record player, if I can date myself, you know, singing, you dropped the bomb on me. You know, like, I was into it. I was like, yeah, this is me. But I grew up in a musical family. My grandmother played the piano for the church. My aunts, everybody sang, and everybody could sing. That's why I rap, because I couldn't, you know. But
say the same thing.
I'm telling you, everybody had a voice. And I'm like, thank God for Salt and Pepper and, you know, MC Light coming along so that I could just.
We're going to talk about
get left off the hook. But from a musical family, loving music, you know, raised around music. That's why I said I had the blessing of secular music and, you know, being a part of the church. So that's why I enjoy what we do now, because I'm like, God, you just knew.
Yeah.
You knew I was going to hold on to my Upside Down by Diana Ross. I was holding on tight.
Got to. Let's talk really quickly, since we talked about, you know, your influences. Who are your biggest musical influences, and have you gotten to interview any of them?
Definitely, you know, obviously everybody grew up on Michael Jackson before, you know, whatever. And your Prince. I mean, I can go down a list, but it was more of, you know, the rappers, you know, Treacherous 3, like, you know, everybody, you know, Full Force. Like, I'm from the, you know, I'm a little bit older than you. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, they were my influence. I have yet to, I take that back. Everybody in CHH that I love and have influenced me, I pretty much got in there.
Yes, you have.
Except for Kurt Franklin. It's two people, Kurt Franklin and Ty Tribbett. I think, you know,
really?
Those are like.
I recently interviewed Kirk Franklin
for
I'm
10
jealous.
Seconds. Yeah. of your 10 seconds. Yeah, I appreciate
on the red
you.
carpet
Now I'm motivated. When I get off here to call somebody.
And it was, he is everything you would expect him to be.
He was on our bench at the Stellars, you know what I'm saying, just playing around. We were at the celebrity basketball game in Vegas. And we love him. Everybody loves him. But yeah, I want to interview everyone. Like every artist, even if I love them, like them or not. Like, that's where I am with what we do now, because God just really reveals something every time we interview a person who maybe doesn't really follow Christ, but they have to have that moment when they sit in front of us and we ask the tough questions. Like, okay, tell us about your faith story. And I love that part where it's kind of jarring to them, like, oh, I just came on here to talk about my album, and I'm like, no, you didn't.
That's what you thought. In that vein,
so
tell me how you came to Christ, how you went from doing your secular thing, being that girl, and decided, hey, I got to change this around. Tell me what that was like for you.
Man, that's just me asking the Holy Ghost what I need to say right now.
Talk to him.
So obviously back in the day when you had a church, there was this thing where they used to set out chairs. So I took the chair at age 5, right? Because I saw my cousin Candace get up to go give her life to Christ. And I'm like, well, I'm not going to get left behind. You know, they haven't even made that movie yet, but I know you ain't leaving me. Okay, if Jesus is over there, I'm going over there. Okay. Not stupid at all. And of course, you grow up on your grandmother's faith, your mom's faith, your dad's faith. You know, you just borrow faith until you really have that moment where, you know, Jesus is like, hey, I'm talking to you. You know, but I had a moment in my life of really being stuck out there. You know, I was in a homosexual relationship, like actually living with the girl and my son, because I'd been divorced. I had like a 4-year-old no, he was 3 at the time. And I was just mad at God, because I'm like, man, God, I'm making all these choices and decisions. You said you was with me, you know. And I had a little cross hanging from my mirror in the car. And I was going to take my son for the summer, because that's what we do as blacks. We drop our kids off. I said, Mama, I'm bringing them to you. But I just remember getting in the car, and it was a cross, and I was so angry. I hit the cross. I'm like, man, you're just not there for me. Like, what is going on? My life was falling apart. And so when I came back home, there was a guy named Ifani, and I lived in the projects in Lawrenceville, and he knocked on my door.
Lawrenceville got projects?
Oh yeah, they do, girl. It was $285 a month. Don't play, okay?
I didn't even know
2 bedroom. I loved every minute of it. I was like, thank you, God. Woo. Yeah, but Ifani knocked on the door. They were doing some outreach, and he said, "Sister, are you saved?" Well, I was like, yeah, I'm saved. What I'm saying? I'm all like indignant, like, yeah, I'm saved. Don't I look like I'm saved in here with this girl? And he was just like, well, come to my church. You and the girl, come to my church. Bring your son, And we went to Christopher Bianchi's church. And it was life-changing. You know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't get turned away. I'd already been rejected at two churches. Victory, both of them. I've had a situation but long story short, that was the first church that invited me in and really was like, let me tell you about Jesus. Let me tell you how much he really loves you. I know you grew up on your family's faith. You've done the secular music thing. You've done your failed marriage, divorce thing. You out here with your alternative relationship thing. Like, you trying everything. But what you need to try is Jesus. And that was the beginning of it. And then I had 2 car accidents.
Jeez, I was trying to get your attention hard.
Yeah. And then the last one, he said, give your life to me. But in the accident before that, the young lady that I was with, she got hit by an 18-wheeler. And it was funny because I was actually following her, which is unimaginable, And so you're just watching the fire department cut her out of the car. And I don't even know if she's dead or alive. And in that moment, I kind of lost it, right? And the police, they're dragging me to the side of the road. I call my ex-husband to come and, get me because I can't drive. They're taking her to the hospital. And I'm in the waiting room. I'm sitting with my ex-husband. And this is a crazy story, but long story short, she broke one finger and it was her ring finger. And the lady that was taking care of my son for me, her name was Nanny, bless her heart, sweetheart. She said, man, God is trying to tell you, you need to get out of that relationship, And I was like, whatever, whatever. And honest to God, like, I heard God. He kept showing me different things. I kept on living my life, just rebelling, because I'm like, no, I'm going to do all the things I want to do. And true story, like, he literally said, give your life to me. Like, when I'm sitting in the car, I heard him in the back seat. And it stayed with me for a while, but I ended up turning my life around. But there's so much in there,
of course.
And so many different things happen. But the one thing God has always done is he's loved me by showing me big signs. Like, and I'm hard-headed, I guess.
He know he don't have no.
He like, I need a pillar of fire and a rainbow, and like he just like, she just don't. Yeah. I'm out here turning cars upside down because she don't listen. And it is what it is. But we can get into a long or shorter but just having some of the same things happen over and over, and really getting pushed to the edge of like, man, God, I'm gonna either kill myself out here, I'm gonna OD out here, I'm gonna whatever out here. Let me just try it your way. So shout out to Pastor Benny Foster, Now Faith. They were a street ministry that got my little thug self together. And you can chop all that up, but and then they took me. Shout out to First Missionary Baptist Church, Atlanta, Bishop C.L. Carter. That's my bishop. And Now Faith was a street ministry that was covered under Bishop, and what I'm saying, that's the importance of these bigger churches having people in the street, so they come and get people like me off the street. So we can fill in the blanks later on that coloring book. But
I love that. I love that you give honor to the house.
Yeah, for sure.
And also understand the importance of going to the people, because that's what Jesus did.
Oh yeah,
Jesus did. He didn't sit up in some tower somewhere.
Are we sure?
He was allowed to be touched. You know what I mean? He was allowed to, like, when you think about the beauty of Jesus' relationship, not just with his 12, but with the people.
With the plus 200 disciples. Yeah.
There are so many instances where Jesus allows himself to be interrupted. He was very interruptible. He allows himself to be touched by the unclean. He allowed himself to be questioned and spoke, like he went back and forth with people. And it shows me a lot of times his humanity. I was talking to a friend the other day and telling her how I realized that because of the comfort of my life right now, I don't have a whole lot of friends who aren't saved. This is the first time in my life that I can say that. I think it's because, one, I work for a church, so I don't go to a job. You know what I mean? So I work for a church. So people who visit, if they are coming, they usually want to study the Bible, and they usually become Christians pretty quickly, you know, when we study the Bible. And I realized when I was younger, especially when I was in New York City and I was doing open mics and performing and, you know, all the stuff that we do, I was always having a visitor with me at church. Wow. Because I was always around people who were searching. And I have, to my shame, kind of put myself in a position where I'm not doing as much natural outreach. I'm just, when people come to church, or when people bring their friends to church, I kind of meet them, and I'm the minister and I help them and you know. Yeah. And I said, I got to work on that, because Jesus ate with the tax collectors. He went to the unsaved. He went to the unchurched. He didn't wait for them to come to him. And so even what you're saying right now, you even know, but you're convicting me as a person who kind of does macro church, that I need to do micro church too. You know, it's important. So thanks for sharing.
No, you're welcome. But that can look different. You know what I mean?
For sure.
I have never let go of my sinful friends. I've never let go of my gothic friends, my gay friends. I ain't let go of nobody. And I think that's something that people who come to Christ or end up getting involved in church, or you're busy in ministry, I think people do that. And I don't. Like if you can go on all my Facebooks, Instagram, whatever the page is, and it's just it's the multiverse for real. Like it's some of everything. And I think if you, and I don't think this is your situation, but this has been my experience, is if you continue to love the people that you run across every day, you'll always have sinful people in your life, or people that aren't Christians in your life. And sometimes you need to go after sinful people. Like, this is a huge issue for me when it comes to being a minister, but definitely, you know, doing what we do. I'm like, we are called to the lost. You know what I'm saying? So I don't even want. Church folk get on my nerves sometimes. Like, honest to God, like I have a small bandwidth for speaking Christianese with you for a few hours, because I'm like, if it's not, and not unless we're, you know, edifying each other, we're building each other up, or we're studying and things like that. I'm just saying, like, if we're together and we chilling on a day and we have nothing to do, let's go to the park and find some people to talk to. Let's go to the coffee shop. And like, I think the intentionality is gone. And earlier, what I wanted to say to you about when you were talking about community, and how it's coming back, I agree, but I think it went away due to selfishness, self-preservation. I'm not in my word, so I can't go serve. I can't go minister if I don't know no Romans, nothing. You know what I'm saying? It's like, so it's kind of like, let me just do the Netflix and chill, and let somebody else come save you. And to your point, I know for a fact, you and we're called to a certain amount of people. And that's one of the things that really drives me every day. It's like, somebody needs your story. Somebody needs to hear, not from your husband, not from the pastor, because it's only one of you. It's only one experience on this earth that is you. And so there are people waiting on you. So while you're at home, you know, twiddling your thumbs and saying, I'll get to it, or I'm too tired to okay. And that person, maybe they've jumped off a bridge right now. And so it's like, when we accept the call, and we know how will they know if we don't go? We need to be going every day. And it doesn't have to be like this physical go, but it can be, I get on YouTube and I just see people in the chat, and now, hey, God bless you. How can I pray for you? I'm over here. No, I'm just saying, but I'm over here on the Howard Stern podcast, you know, because we're so groomed to stay in our comfort zone. But like you were talking about, Christ, he was always uncomfortable in an uncomfortable space with uncomfortable stuff happening, you know? So it's like, we have to change our perspective to be more Christ-like. And the crazy part is, people are like, you need to be more Christ-like. And people think, well, that means my posture. That means my conversation. That means what I got on right now. No, you need to do what he did. Let's start right there. And that's called go outside. I need you to go outside. Down the street. To the well. Deuces. Go to the party. Stop being so closed off. You know, as they say, you're so high-minded. You're no earthly good. Because you just. You're so saved now. That's not what our salvation should be based on. I got mine, you get yours. It's like, well, you can just fall dead and die now. Because
what use are you to? What
are we talking about?
I've been really convicted about this. as well, because I'm a person, I study my Bible. I'm really, I love talking about the things of God, but I don't speak Christianese. I'm very, I mean, you've been talking, you know.
Was I doing it?
Did
I say bless you?
But I'm saying, like,
bless
you know how, you know, I talk regular.
Okay.
And that's something that people say to me, like, I just love how real you are.
I just love how regularly.
But I really realized that when I was a younger Christian and just younger as a person, I would go, when I was in college, I'd be on campus. I would invite 100 people in a day to our Bible study on campus. Easy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I think now, obviously, I do the internet. I do a lot of evangelism online. I talk to people about God all the time. But I'm convicted that I do need to do the physical coffee shop, go outside. You know, I'm a person where, like, if I'm at a restaurant, I'll always tell my waitress, hey, we're about to pray for the food. Is there anything we can pray for you for?
That's good.
I you know, if I have a person I'm checking out. But to me, not that that doesn't count. It counts. But that has become routine for me. Okay. I need to step out of my comfort zone. And I really do love that you mentioned the selfishness, because it is. Yeah, selfish. It's a part of, you know, I'm calling myself out right now, but in general. You're
not the only one.
You know what I'm saying?
These moments too.
We do struggle as a faith with stepping outside and actually being like Jesus and speaking to the people that Jesus would have been speaking to, because he would have been in some very different spaces that we, the church, would have been judging him for, just like they did in the Bible, you know. And so we do got to work on it. It's just the truth. I'm gonna go on because I feel like we can preach. I feel like we can preach.
I'm good. But this is good. I'm like, oh, yeah.
Listen, I'm one of the people where if I'm convicted, I'm convicted. I ain't gonna act like, you know what I mean? I like to let people know what you just said touched me. So I love that. Amen. I want to talk about the seasons of life that you've experienced in your career. Right? Because I feel like we're in a season now where there can be more than one woman. There was a time where it couldn't be more than one, right? I feel like we're in a season now where women's voices in CHH, but in the kingdom at large, are being championed, encouraged. We just saw Bishop Jakes, give his church, to his daughter. Really, I mean, to his daughter and her husband, but really to his daughter. Yeah, for sure. Which I love Torrey Roberts. Love Torrey. But it ain't shout out to Pastor Torrey. You know what I mean? We love definitely got me through some difficult in my life, but he gave the church to Sarah, and Torrey. His favor. That's a big deal. You know what I mean? And so,
but why is it?
We gonna get there. Yeah, we know why, because of patriarchy.
Oh my
but you have been, I feel, at the forefront of women's voices in CHH media, and then by extension in CHH, winning a Stella Award for the show that you co-host. Being a part of an integral part of Holy Culture, and its place on Sirius XM, being the first of its kind. Does that feel like pressure? Or do you feel pressure of that at all?
I've never felt pressure, but I've always known I belong. My parents have always said, we would never be surprised of anything that you did, because there are no limits. I'm like, hey, I'm 17, I want to go to Europe. They're like, okay, go get your passport. But I want to circle back to something, and this is the narrative I know we have to change. I truly don't believe that it's always been women didn't have a place. I really am at the point now where I'm like, women have to own it. Like, I think that's been the challenge. And here's the statistic. 60% of churches are full of women. Like, women are the ones that get the family up and go. Women are the ones who are serving the most at the church. Like, we're leading out in faith. So why, when we switched to CHH, did that not equate? It's like, I think women had to have an awakening and say, oh, I can do that. Oh, I will learn how to mix. I will learn how to master. I will learn how to set up my business. I will ask for the spot. I will set up my own show. And the only reason why I say that, we have a great example now with the WNBA. Like, hello, this didn't happen overnight. Oh, now all these women are being supportive. No, women would always be supported, but women have to command the support and demand the support and say, guess what? The same way that you're supporting the guys, support the women. And every church across the world, they don't have a women's ministry right now, something is absolutely wrong. Like women are not just the bread and butter and the last thing God made, you know, put the cherry on top. Okay. And nobody comes to the planet except through women. And God obviously trusts us to be the first teacher for every human on this planet for the first 40 weeks. I didn't make that up. God did. So obviously our value has always been there in the eyes of God and in the eyes of Christ. But it's like, but we have to know that. And we have to start as women. We have to start reminding each other about our value and who we are in Christ and how Christ made us. Now, do we honor our husbands? Of course. Yeah, babe. You my covering. I love it. Because when I screw up, I be like, Jesus, I ate the apple. Blame the husband. You know, like whatever. I love the covering. However, we have to know we have to work together, and we can never expect a man to give us a spot that we're not willing to go and work for ourselves. And I think that's been the divide. But I think women are finally seeing examples like you, you know, myself. Yes, definitely all of our sisters in CHH. They're like, well, wait a minute. I can make my own beat. Wait a minute. I can start my own production company. I can. Yes, you can, sis. You can. And you've always been able to do it. But I just think collectively now the ladies are leading out. And they are changing the game. And I'm beyond proud every time I see one of us doing anything, because I'm like, the young ladies, the young kids coming up, they need to see women in roles where they're like, dang, I can do that too. Yeah, I can do that too. Yes, you can do that too. Absolutely. So no, I put the blame back on us, you know, like as having a voice, because women, we haven't had a voice, but I think now we're like, I do have a voice, turns out, you know, but I have to use my voice to get me to where I want to be. And that's very biblical, right? Power of what? Life and death is in the tongue. Yes, so if I shut up, I ain't gonna have nothing. But when I'm your husband be like, Lord, take the wallet. Yes, please go get a microphone. Like, okay, I love you. I see you. So we're changing the game.
I didn't think about it like that.
Yeah,
but I can see that.
We gonna own this.
I can see that.
We gotta own this.
Yeah. What would you say to the labels, right? Because I do feel like labels now, granted, there's a statistic here, right?
What's that?
There are more women on the planet than men, right?
Yeah.
But men seem to get more of everything than women, right? So like a label will sign more men than women because, and this is what I've been told this directly, because men are easier, right? When you sign a female artist, you got to pay for hair, you got to pay for makeup, wardrobe.
But women make more money. That's why we have strip clubs.
I said that.
That's why we have pornography.
That's true. Yeah, okay. Women gonna bring the money in.
That's why we have kidnapping. That's why we have sex
trafficking.
Yeah, sex.
It's true.
We have it. Why?
It's true.
It ain't for the men. I'm sorry. I mean, some men get caught up in it. No disrespect.
Yeah.
But it's like we recognize our power when we want to.
Yeah.
And then in the other end, we're intimidated. And I'll be honest with you, like acting like that, we don't have that spirit. So what are we talking about? And it's like, I just think there's a way to definitely keep your Proverbs 31, but you also got to handle your business. And that was the area I had to learn about early on. And I had to ask who? Men. How do you do this? Show me that. Where's the paperwork? How do I download it? How do I register it? And it's like, once I got it, I was like, but guess what? This is a problem for women a lot of times. When do you go and show the next woman? Oh, and stop gatekeeping. Oh, like how did you do that thing?
I hate it.
So I'm like, that's why I said we have to start owning our development, you know, as women and our sisterhood.
I agree, but I disagree a little bit. And I'm gonna tell you why.
Disagree.
I feel like there are conversations that I have had to have with men who I love very much about ways that their behavior was sexist that they didn't realize. And I think the reason I agree is because we have been complicit in our own, what's the word I'm looking for? Discrimination, like against us. I feel the same way about us as black people sometimes. We can be complicit. But it's not all on us because there are definitely things that try to keep us in our place. And we really do have to fight very hard. So you are someone who I feel like, and I feel this way about myself too, men respect us. When we come in a room, it's not, they don't try to little girl us. No. So I use that power. Good luck. Okay?
Right.
It's only one person on earth who can little girl me. And the little girl and is welcome in that circumstance.
You're like,
so,
wait. Yes, I'm on my way.
Right. So I try to use that those relationships and that respect, that mutual respect that I feel from most men in my life as a way to speak up when I see them doing something that they may not even realize they're doing. Because our brothers, they got good hearts. They love us.
Yeah.
But there's some patriarchal stuff that be happening. So what would you say to that man, right? Because you done spoke to the sisters and told us, get your act together, Figure it out.
Yeah.
And I agree with everything you said there. But what would you say to the brother, lovingly, but
Lovingly, brother?
bro, get it, you know.
Well, it would depend on if I need him. You know, I think sometimes we got to be led of the Lord, right? So it's like, do I need you?
She's like, do I even need to talk to you?
Are you a part of the God-given vision? Because I think as women, sometimes we can be very controlling, okay? So we're trying to control a narrative or insert ourselves. This is me, I'm being honest. And the only reason why I'm saying this is because I've done this.
That's good.
Because women will see something that they can either make better or be a part of. And now, okay, I'm over here, and now I want you to adjust.
Yeah.
But it's like, be led in the things you're doing. I think it's okay to call people out.
Yeah.
It's okay to call people up, especially if they're of the faith.
Right.
But here's the deal. Handle your business when you do it. On this day, you called me this. 1, I don't like it. 2, I'm going to ask you to stop doing that. And 3, I'm going to make sure I tie in your other brother so that he knows that this is it. Now, here's the deal. If this happens again, a couple things are going to happen.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like either I'm going to bring in another brother. We got to follow the Bible.
protocol.
With a lot of
Matthew
this.
18.
But guess what? There are some times where you offend me because I am not supposed to be here. And that's what I'm saying. Like, and if God ain't opened that door, I'm just saying, if God has opened that door, I don't want it.
Yeah.
And if that's not my role, because I'll be honest with you, when you're led of, when God sends you and it's yours, it just goes. It goes.
I've experienced.
Okay. So that's why I'm like, but here's the deal. I want to be honest with you about men. They're built different.
Yeah. Talk to me.
And I'm not mad at a man that loves women.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. And I get that. Women are beautiful. And I think we do give men kind of a hard time sometimes.
We do.
You know, real talk. I have 3 boys. And I'll be honest with you, I push them. Oh, Mom, she's so pretty. Ain't she cute? You want me to, what, you want to buy her something? Like, I'm in it.
Yeah.
I'm, you know, I'm not pushing them to be narcissistic.
Yeah.
But I am like, okay. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're just different.
Yeah.
They're a different breed, and they love a beautiful woman, or women, period.
Yeah.
I mean, a real man just love women. Like,
yes.
they be like, hey, it's a lady in here, and I'm trying to holler. And I love it when a man shoots his shot.
Yeah.
That is like rule number 1, I think, in manhood, if you see something you like. But I do think there are guidelines when it comes to business and when it comes to ministry.
For sure.
And so that's why I'm saying, we talk, and this is funny, because Focus and I talk about this all the time. He's like, and
shout out to DJ Focus.
Shout out to Focus.
Shout out to Focus. Yeah.
But I talk to Focus about this all the time, and even in his mind, he's like, yeah, you know, some of these guys, I talk to my guy friends, whoop-de-whoop. And I said, my grandmother told me something when I was like 5. A woman can run faster with her skirt up than a man with his pants down. But what happens is, this is my prophetic grandmother, rest in peace, Bernice. But we often blame the man, but we never, it takes 2. So the women need to be corrected as well. Yeah. So there are some behaviors that have been tolerated by some of our sisters. And when you know they flirty like that, that's on us. That's all I'm trying to say is like, it's a season for us to say, I hear you, but you just walked by my husband and you rubbed up against him. And I did not appreciate that. We are at church too, by the way.
Mercy.
But I'm just saying, like, I'm talking about as a society, we let some things slide for females and we let some things slide for males.
True.
But I think in the body of Christ, it has to be, hey.
Yeah.
No, this is not what we're going to do. We're going to handle business in here. If we got a record label, we're handling business. If we're serving, you know, if you're in a green room, if we got a visiting pastor, it's the same. So we can get better at that is all I'm trying to say. But as girls,
that was a great answer.
I'm not playing with the women this year. I'm like, hey,
get it together.
And if it ain't working, if they don't want us, we'll go start our own.
I really loved that answer.
I'm sorry.
I loved the it
Which
depends
one?
on
Like,
if I need them. That one. Because that's real.
God.
Sometimes we waste time explaining ourselves or trying to get somebody on board.
Yeah.
And they have nothing to do with our legacy. They have nothing to do with our anointing. We're going to talk off camera, but that spoke to me.
I'm just saying.
And not even in the business sense. That spoke to me.
Like you said, that's from a relationship standpoint too.
I just loved it. I feel like this is about me.
Y'all just getting.
First of all, we way off track. But are just getting the benefits of Dice giving,
I mean,
telling me about my life. Which I love. Which
I'm
I
here
love.
with you, Lish.
Listen, you call yourself the auntie of CHH a lot.
Yeah. I see.
You don't look like nobody's auntie,
Oh,
but
I
God
am.
bless
Shout
you.
out to all my
You
nieces
know,
and nephews.
Let me tell you,
I got 3
you
sisters, man. Go ahead.
It shows that you take care of your vessel,
Thank you.
that you want to be here,
I do.
and that you want to be the best mom of
do.
those 4
Yeah,
babies that you have.
got them.
And the best grandma,
Yeah, I do.
to the one that's coming. So I
Yeah.
want to talk a little bit about Dice the mom.
Yeah.
You talk about how you had somewhat of an absent mom.
I did.
But you had your grandma, you had your
I did.
aunties.
Thank God, yeah.
And you had a praying grandmother.
Praying
Thank
grandma.
God for that.
Okay.
And also, it sounds like a real advice given.
I did.
Keeping it real, grandma.
I did. Yeah.
How did those relationships, even the one with your mom, play into Dice the mother?
I think not having my mother there was one of the things that led me to go look for love in a lot of other places. So I'm kind of grateful we didn't have a relationship, or you and I probably wouldn't be having this conversation. And it's just like God uses it all, but we have to get to the point in life where we take the emotion out of things and just deal with the situation that's happened. Now, what's my reaction?
Yeah.
And so my mom kind of taught me that, like, okay, but I was no nonsense. Like, okay, if I don't have a mom, I'm gonna go find me some more. So I found me more women who could pour into me, because I knew, I'm like, I'm a girl. I need women to be around me, but at one point I was really falling for that trick of the devil. Like, this is why I can't trust women, because I've been left behind. I've been thrown away. She didn't want me. She wanted a boy. Like, the enemy plays all these tricks on you. But I would say, me as a mom, I'm an amazing mother. Like,
Claim that. Talk that.
Now, here's the deal. I'm a very strict mother when it comes to, hey, let's do what we're supposed to do now. But I like to have a lot of fun with my kids and be absolutely honest. I love all of our children communicate. They're all in their 20s now, and they don't mind calling you for the problem, or they'll say, hey, I gave somebody advice you gave me. But I have had the best time raising children. And yes, we are definitely excited for the new poo on the way. We got a little man on the way. So you already know he'll be in the studio. He'll be at the fix on the microphone. But I think getting the opportunity to, and I just want you to know, like, 3 of those aren't mine. I had one when I married my now husband, and he had 3. So, and we had young kids, ages 4 to 7. And so woo woo.
So you did the blended family thing as well.
Well, yeah, like, he had a marriage that, it was tough, and we ended up getting the kids. So, like, me not having that love, God just flipped that thing and was like, now you have 3 children who identify with you. Now you know what to do. So a lot of people, this is what I'm saying, like, how God uses situations. Like, you can't get stuck on the hurt. You have to be like, God, I know you're going to use this. Okay, so I'm going to put it in my memory, but I'm not going to be,
bound to it,
locked in the unforgiveness prison concerning this, because I know you're going to bring it back. So that's why I'm like, my kids end up getting like one of the greatest parents ever, because they're like, not only does she know how to parent because she had her own, but she knows the love that I need from not having that.
From absentee.
Absolutely. So it's been a beautiful journey.
Speak to being a bonus mom, step parent, however you want to title it.
God, it's the best thing.
Let me tell you, I think this is such a special role that God allows people to have. And I think that a lot of times when things like Mother's Day come up and stuff, sometimes women who haven't been able to give birth physically, or haven't been able to give birth physically yet, because we're believing for everybody who's believing that for their lives, if that is God's will, they can feel slighted. I talk
about this. I talk about this a lot. Shout out to my girlfriend Keena. I have a lot of women in my life who they've never had children, but I think that you get to do other things. You know what I'm saying? And
you get to mother in other ways.
Your business. A child who is at the Boys and Girls Club. Mentoring, like I said, just adults. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's keep it 1,000. But if you try to put God in a box, like, no, God, you were going to give me love that way, that's disrespectful. Now, God can give you whatever kind of baby he wants to give you for you to nurture, for you to care for you to raise, for you to, hey, send it on its way.
Yeah.
But it's like we get stuck on the, I want it to look like this.
Yeah.
And I think that's where a lot of hurt and pain can come in. You know, a lot of shame and guilt. And you got the enemy in your ear, like, see, you can't even whoop, whoop. And it's like everybody's journey is different.
Yep.
You know, you are not to do the same thing your sister, auntie, mama did.
Yes.
But who makes that stuff up? We do. So it's like, that's why we have to know I'm loved, I'm wanted, I'm needed. God made me on purpose for his reason, not my reason.
Yep.
So I think we can see a lot of images in the world and on the internet and on TV, or see your neighbor and you're like, dang, I really want that. But it's like, I think the conversation should be, man, God, what do you really have for me? Like, I'm excited for the thing. I'm count this all joy, and I'm excited. I'm gonna rejoice with them for their blessing.
Yeah.
But God, now I'm even more excited because the way you bless them, I know you're gonna bless me too. Like, because you love us all.
Yeah.
So it's like, I don't want to be
respect
stuck.
their
I don't want to.
persons.
I don't want to cup. I'm gonna tell you this, because my husband and I, we just bought our house in 2020. But before that, and our house is beautiful. It's beautiful. Okay, I ain't even gonna play no games with you with the crown molding and the plantation blinds. Let's go. I mean, you know, but long story short, I remember before we had a home and we were sleeping on the floor of my mom's, because when we got married, my husband has lost his job for 10 months. So now we got 4 kids, no money, and we living at my mama's. This is not the will of the Lord, but it was. We slept on that floor for about a year and a half, and I mean on the floor, not a bed.
And this is your
I'm talking
mom,
about a pallet. And my mom, who I
okay,
was not even groomed with.
We don't even got time to get to hit that. Wow. Okay.
And I was praying to God. I said, man, God, I want a house like this. I want a house like this. Oh, I'm praying. I'm believing God. You know, I'm sweating. I'm in the spirit. I'm like, I'm just, you know.
You're in the secret place.
Yeah.
Getting it in.
Yeah. All the shunnings, I'm in it. Yes. And he stopped me mid-prayer and said, but what do I want to give you? Like, you're literally like, you're counting it. You're just out here counting it. And he said, I might want to give you more.
You're my business.
And you know what? But we needed to have that moment, because that's what I'm saying. Like, in churches, we need to talk about this a little bit more. Like, yes, we can pray and believe.
Yeah.
But I'm believing God for my stuff.
Yeah.
I say all the time on the show, I don't want your stuff. I want my stuff, God. Like, I want all my blessings.
Yes.
I ain't missing no blessings. I'm giving, I'm sowing, I'm praying, I'm going. Okay? Sorry, I know we off track, but
no, it's fine.
This
is good.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, they just you just
This is so
discipling
good.
me.
No, you're fine. No.
And the cameras are just here, and I love that for me. I love that for me.
I love it.
Because
I love that for me.
I have some things going on in my life right now.
What you got? Let's talk about it.
Could potentially make some changes that I don't think is the change. I'm like, that's not what I see. You know what I mean? And what you just said convicted me, because like, what if I want to give you more? Yeah. You know, I have this
don't want to
vision.
move. Your house could be down the street, but you just stuck. It's like, hey, Lish, come on, Lish. I'm just saying.
I'm about to run.
Come on.
Literally, I don't want to move. That's you don't know. You
Come
speaking prophetically.
Come on now.
We'll talk.
Let's go. We'll talk. Yeah, yeah.
But no, I'm learning a lot. And this is why it's so important for us to be around women of faith who have been through some stuff, right? I've only been married. You've been married 16 years. I've only been married a year.
That's
and
my
a half.
second marriage. It might be my third.
We're going to talk about that. But we've been married a year and a half.
I love that.
And it's been beautiful, and we're learning a lot. But God has given us, like, I started my podcast a year ago. So God has elevated us very quickly, which happened with my music as well at first, right? Like, God does that with me. He's like, all right, once you apply yourself, I got you. Now, if you stay consistent, I might keep having you, because that was my issue with music, consistency. So I think for me, it's a matter of really understanding that I texted my husband. I will show you the text later. I got to tell you what I learned in my quiet time this morning. And it was this. I'm telling you now, babe. I was reading Jeremiah 29:11. We all know Jeremiah 29:11, right? God said to me, I'm a planner.
Turns out.
I'm a planner. I got it.
Yeah.
You know, he has plans across me, not talking about that. Yeah. My husband is a planner. Okay. So whenever he says we're doing da-da-da-da, I don't even think about it, because I know he's a planner. Yeah. He has a plan. Yeah. And it convicted me. Wow. Because what you think you worried about? What you think you worried about? It convicted me so so good. Like, I was like, bro, I'm bugging.
Yeah.
Because I've been, wrestling with some things in my heart about our future. And just like, God, what do you want us to do? What do you want us to be? And he's like, I have a plan to prosper you. My prospering is not going to be haphazard or just willy-nilly. Right. I've planned this. Right. You know what I mean? I knit you together in your mother's womb. All your days were counted before one of them came to be. Who do you think you're talking to? And I'm talking about he got me together real quick because that doubt and that, what I'm believing for and what I'm praying for. I've been praying for a certain thing, but also I've been praying for surrender.
Come on now.
And it convicted me because I'm like, are you really praying for surrender, or are you just saying that because you think it's a good spiritual thing to say?
Wow.
And girl, I could keep going. But the truth of the matter is, we need to remember that God is a planner. He's got it.
Yeah, he's a destroyer too. And, he's a destroyer of your plan. He's a destroyer of his plan. Like he will build it and he will tear it down. And he has washed that whole world. You know what I'm saying? Come on, shout out to Noah for building the ark, being smart enough to say, hey God, okay, you mad? Are you tired of this? Okay, you don't want to do this no more. You gonna save me? Good. Go ahead. Let me build my little vessel. And then you do what you do and then holler at me, when it's some land somewhere. Like true story. I mean, I think, like I said, this is a season for people to realize that God is God. And you quoted eloquently Jeremiah, but I will say, I have plans to prosper you, but it doesn't mean the way you think.
Yes.
Like I want to prosper you. Yeah. I want to get you right, your heart, your soul, your mind, your spirit, because you're designed for my purpose. Yes. So it's like, the things will come along with the journey. That is for sure. God is a good God. We're his children. He ain't going to leave us begging for nothing, and definitely not me, because I love you. I'm like, Lord Jesus, you love me. I need my snacks now. Okay, I'm gonna be as fruity as you want me to be over here. I am a fruit roller, period. I am out here. I know you're not gonna leave me, but I think it's the giving God the freedom to do the God thing. That's why we have the Holy Spirit. That's why we definitely need to be in spirit and in truth. Like we talk a lot. Like the truth is I'm broke. The truth is I'm scared. The truth is I'm hurt. The truth is, but I need the spirit. I need the spirit side of it. The truth is I'm afraid. So what? Do it afraid. But we're so focused on details. And I think we got to get back to letting God handle his business. And I follow. Like you lead, I follow. You're my shepherd. So in the valley, wherever, you're still the shepherd. He didn't change and be like the cook in the middle of in the valley. He's like, no, you are the shepherd, period. And so the whole body of Christ has to get to trusting more. We have to learn to trust more and to let stuff go. And I think this world has taught us to cling to what we have. But that's how God can't give you nothing with your hands closed. You know what I'm saying? I need you to let it go now. Let it go.
Listen,
go ahead. Come on.
I got two more questions.
Come on.
One of them is the one we always end with. But before I go there, let me ask you this. What is your favorite thing about being a mother?
I think my favorite thing about being called a mother or being a mother is being called mom. It's very softening. Like I'm Dice, don't get it twisted. You know what I'm saying? That's but I think it brings you back to reality that people need leadership. You know what I mean? And that's why I love being called auntie. That's why I love being called. I'm about to be called, Lola, because I don't want no grandma. You gonna call me Lola? Quit playing. But I think women have so many hats. We're sisters, we're moms, we're aunties, we can be some wives. Like we have so many different hats, and it's exciting for me to see God designed me to be multiple different things, and I just want to honor each one of those. And like I said, I have a lot of women in my life that I call mom. They're not my mom. My stepdad, I call him daddy. He ain't my daddy. My parents ain't. My mom ain't married to him no more. But it's like the relationship piece of the name, I think, is, and it just reminds me, man, God is creating moms out here, you know what I'm saying? And it's an honor to have another name, like when you got married, now your wife, you didn't have that 2 years ago. You wasn't my wife. You got a different level of respect now. You got a different level of honor now. You got a different level of accountability now. You got a different level of responsibility. Like you get a front row seat to a man's vulnerability. You get to cover him before anybody. Like it's an honor when you get that, everybody don't get married, girl. Some people die. Like, the one never came along. You know what I'm saying?
I
Like,
thought that was gonna be me.
Yeah.
The Lord came. He delivered.
I'm just saying, like, so it's the same feeling, you know, like, I'm mom. Yeah, I am mom. Yeah, how can mom help you? It put you in another, you know, place. Hey, I am mom, you know? So it's just a fun get to do. And honestly, it's a blessing, like, for women some women have had abortions. I have, but God blessed me to be able to have my own. And I actually had, you know, a really messed up ovaries. I literally just had the biggest, like, 5-pound tumor taken out. Yeah, I almost posted on Instagram. I was like, I can't do it. Yeah, but it's like God allowed me to have a child through an insane situation. So I'm like, whatever I get to do, I'm excited that I get to do that. And I didn't have to be a mom, you know. I didn't want no kids, you know, but he said, you're going to have some. I was like, so I planned, and he laughed.
Our stories are very similar. And I'm praying that God allows me to be a mom one day.
Yeah,
so
you can be my mom
beautiful.
tomorrow. Well, I will call you. I'll be like, Mom, because I'm stressed out enough. I'll be like, I just need to talk to you. Just
I'll give you my mom's number. She got enough mother in her for
Then she put
me
both
and
of
my
us
siblings
all
and
up.
everybody else.
You need
my
it.
mom's a great mom.
I love that.
Y'all will, by the time y'all see this, y'all will have seen the episode of me and my
That's
mom
beautiful.
and
That's
get
beautiful.
to hear from
Listen,
her.
I'm gonna tell you this piece right now, and spend more time with your mom. And so I've just taken in my mom. She did not live with us. She had to come live with us. Let's see, she moved in December. She's in stage 5 dementia, and it's so funny. This is how God laughs, right? So you and I just talked about not having a good relationship with my mom. Like, love her, but we've never had a close relationship. She doesn't know my favorite color. She don't know my favorite food. None of that, right? We don't have pictures of us going anywhere together. And then she gets dementia, and she's in my home every day.
Wow.
And it's insane that I repeat myself. I have to tell her things. And the only thing I wanted when she came to my house was to tell her about herself. I was like, I ain't saved all the way today, Jesus. I really won't let her know. Like, I can't believe that. And it's insane. Let me tell you how the enemy, he works, right? So I had to move all of her things in. I got a safe, and I'm just going through paperwork because I'm trying to figure out, did you pay your taxes? Did you know what? Right? It's wild. I find a letter that my father wrote her when I had to be like maybe 2 or 3. Wow. And my father's a pastor. You know, he's explaining how he's frustrated with her because she doesn't want to spend time with me, how she cusses at me and calls me little this and names and things like that. And he's just really crying out to her, like, you know, when we're there, can you at least act like pretty much like you love her? And it was so crazy how the enemy kept that letter. He let her keep that letter until she moved in to my house, where I am forced to take care of her because she had no plan, and I'm her only child. And I sat there one day and I said, wow, wow, I already knew it was like that, but thank you for the confirmation that it's like that. But I had wanted to just tell her about herself. But the crazy part about dementia is I could tell her and she forgets. I was like,
God said, nope.
I was like, wow.
Yeah.
And so now I just get to love her every day. And she asks me the same questions, and I'm like, hey, you're on vacation. Hey, Mom, how are you? Oh, I love you, you know? And I thank God for demencia, because now I'm getting the love that I've always wanted. I don't want her to have it, but he's giving me these little bits of, she told me she loved me for the first time. I think I was 19, you know? Wow. Yeah, I didn't come from all that, but now, you know, we're building a different relationship, and it's a beautiful thing. So now when I say mom, I'm looking for her. Like, I'm looking for her like a child, because she acts like a child. Roles are kind of reversed, but it's just funny how things will happen to you in life, is my point. And it's like, you don't know what God's going to do with it later. So it's like, don't get stuck in the feelings of it, but keep it moving. But you were bringing up your mom, and I said,
and I will spend more time with her.
Spend more time with her.
She'll be happy to have someone else have told me that. She'll see this. She watches every episode. She's the first one.
Hey, ask her. When was your first kiss? You know, like, when did you first use scissors? Ask her. Because honestly, it may, I'm not saying it will for everybody, but for me, now I'm like digging to grab on the little bits of her memories, and it's less about me being mad. I really have come, thank you, God, I've come to the you know, reconciliation point there. Like, you know what, life was lifing for her, and now I get to take care of her. So
I love the grace and the growth, and God is already rewarding, but will reward what you're doing.
I
for
want
sure.
all my rewards, Jesus.
Yeah, give it to her. Let me say this.
Go ahead.
You are going to be, I said this to you off camera, but I'm going to say it on camera. You're going to be the first, one of the first, if not the first, maybe Celis Hamilton's mom, maybe. But you will be one of the first grandmas to be playing CHH, to know everybody. So that grandbaby going to be locked in and connected, period. And to raise a grandchild
in that world
on a gospel that they can relate to. That in and of itself is legacy. So the last question that we ask at this show is, in the grand scheme of things, because we talk about, I'll let myself in. So in the grand scheme of things, what do you want your legacy to be?
I really want my legacy to be about Jesus. And for me, Gamble is my maiden name, for those who don't know. And Dice became a nickname and a rapper name. And definitely before I gave my life to Christ, I was like, should I keep my name? Should I let it go or whatever? Talked to Danny over at Holy Hip Hop Records, because I had the deal in 2004 with, it was a distribution deal through EMI Gospel. I asked him, hey, do you think I should change my name? He said, you need to go pray about it, went and prayed about it. The Lord led me to Luke chapter 23, the 31st verse. And it's the picture of Christ on the cross, in between two thieves. And the last thing that Jesus asked of his Father is, Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do. And it immediately connected with me, because it said, and then the soldiers rolled dice and gambled for Christ's clothing. And it was literally this crazy connection, because at that point, I wasn't in my word like that, but it was God showing me, like, your whole ministry, your whole life has been about forgiveness. You forgiving quickly, and I hadn't even put two and two together. That was my confirmation that, no, your name will be Dice Gamble. Also, everybody wants a piece of God. Everybody wants a piece of Jesus. They just don't know how to get that thing. That's why we're called to go and be, and definitely, roll the dice, get with Christ. I mean, you could bet on the best outcome when it comes to Christ. Like, just go for it. But long story short, that's what I want my legacy to be. My faith in Jesus, definitely. Forgiveness, and absolutely just loving,
Love that. Love that. Y'all, this has been another episode of I'll Just Let Myself In. Let me tell y'all, like I said all throughout the episode, I feel like Dice was just discipling me and y'all got to see it. But I love that for us. I really do, because that is true sisterhood. If you don't know how to find Dice Gamble, tell the people where to find you.
Y'all know how to find me.
It's going to be linked below, but that's for the clip.
Dafixx.
Yes, Dafixx. On social media at Dice Gamble on social media.
Yeah, Dice Gamble everywhere.
Everywhere,
y'all can email dicegamble@gmail.com. But every platform is Dice Gamble. And of course, Dafixx, they need to be listening, right? Monday through Friday.
Yes, listen to Dafixx. Everybody who y'all think is somebody is on Dafixx.
Thank you, God.
Okay, and so it's a beautiful space that they've created, and a new studio, just doing amazing things for the kingdom. So we bless y'all. We want y'all to be amazing and great and all the things that y'all are. Listen, if you caught this on Sirius XM channel 140 at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on a Monday night, thank you so much for checking it out. If you caught this on Holy Cultures YouTube, thanks for checking it out. If you caught it on my YouTube, thanks for checking it out. Share it with a friend. Like, subscribe, leave us a review. Tell us how you feeling about the podcast. We want to hear from you. Email me, speakers@lishspeaks.com, and let me know if there's any questions you want me to answer or topics you want me to cover. I'd be happy to do so. This has been another episode of I'll Just Let Myself In. Dice Gamble, thank you for being here.
Thank you.
All right, and we'll see y'all on the next one. Peace.
So have a great day.